Welcome, welcome. One and all. In case you may have been on some sort of excursion with, I don't know, your creepy, weird sex cult in the middle of a retreat somewhere in the desert, meditating and cutting yourself from the real world, what I like to call doing a Jared Leto, you would have heard the expression about defunding the police. And all the animosity towards the police that's been going on recently. Now, this whole rhetoric forced someone like myself, who doesn't really like the police that much, into a position where I had to defend them. Because, we do need the police. Let's not get it twisted. We do actually need the police. We do need enforcement. We do need people to protect us, to keep us safe, people to investigate crime, people to prevent crime, and people to keep the peace. You know what I'm saying? Your bicycle gets stolen. You need a policeman to find it. Because amateur sleuths are like, you've seen them online, they'll see a wardrobe and it will have a reference number and they'll enter it into Google and say, oh, this is secret code for international paedophile satanic child traffickers. So you don't want them looking for your bicycle, do you? You want a policeman. Now the problem is, what are the main problems? Well, one of the problems is the police, they shouldn't be defunded, but then I guess they should be doing their job properly. And I don't think they've been doing it for a very long time. And this is the thing. People go around saying about, police brutality and racism and so forth. But when you actually look into, look, the police are they're handsy. They can act a bit heavy. That's a discussion for another time. But if you look into atrocities against ethnic minorities and so forth, particularly in the United Kingdom, it ain't that much. People are out there protesting the police. And as with a lot of protests and a lot of outrage, it's always over the wrong fucking thing. Because what have the police really been up to? Not a lot. In terms of that. But in terms of what they've been up to? Sorry, I've lost track. What am I saying? What have they been up to? Well, they're just arresting people for writing stuff online. They've been doing a lot of it for a very long time. This has actually become their focus, to be honest. This is the focus of the police. I'll read you something. Let me get this up. Okay. Now, let me read you a little comment here. There's a few. Here. I confronted a woman. I'm reading this verbatim. I confronted a woman, so that's woman, yesterday in Croydon. I asked her to explain Brussels. She said, nothing to do with me. A mealy-mouthed reply. Okay. Now what's that? That's a tweet from a guy who got arrested for this tweet. He was arrested for inciting racial hatred. For that. Now look. Or is this just some random thing? Well, it is kind of random, but if you, I did, I've heard of many cases for over the last 10 years or so. And just looking up some examples to give you today, I didn't have to look far to find some really crap ones of what? That was just one I stumbled across. Just doing a simple search. There's a lot of this stuff. That got a man arrested. What even is that? Let's read it again. I don't know. What is it? Now, it's you give context. It's to do with one of the terrorist attacks in Brussels in 2016. And what is it? I walked up to a woman. She must have been a Muslim woman. I asked her to explain Brussels. She said, nothing to do with me. A mealy-mouthed reply. What's mealy? I don't really know. But I don't... No, who is this guy? Probably an asshole. All I can read from that time, well, he's a bit of an asshole. Why are you bothering some woman who ain't done nothing? Do you care to explain Brussels? What? Do you care to explain Brussels to me, please? I saw you in your burqa and I thought, you must explain Brussels. you're an asshole, but you know, we can't go around just arresting assholes because everybody would be in jail. We'd all be in jail at one point. I mean, we haven't got enough jails to support that many assholes. Excuse me, that was disgusting, but I don't care. So as we continue into this exploration of the nonsense that is the British police force in particular, I just first like to say that there will be a link. Well, there is a link, because you're watching this in real time. There's a link down here, right? It goes to my website. If you are a subscriber or a follower on any of the platforms, this podcast is put across a multitude of platforms. So I don't know where you'll be consuming it. If it is on Instagram, then it's the link in bio. Go over there. Which should be updated by the time you hear this message. I'll put that on my things to do. But anyway, I want you to go to my website. And I believe the business model definitely is to get everything over to the website. This website is a place for you to consume all my content. There's lots of stuff on there. I do a lot of different stuff. But mainly for the podcast as well, it has its own dedicated page, which has all the videos, it has articles, it has every podcast. It's all there. And all you got to do is subscribe to the mailing list and click the notifications on the website. Because this is on a lot of different platforms. I want to bring everyone over to the website. I want that to be where you go. This is a business, baby. This is a business, okay? Go over there. There's plenty of other stuff there too. There's 3 parts of it. There's travel, there's knowledge and ignorance, and there's one called life. Okay? Yeah, I do some travel vlogging and writing, and it's bloody hilarious. I mean, you know, sort of semi-informative, but it's more for jokes, you know what I mean? If you like all this and you want to support me and do all that kind of shit, the website's where you got to go. That's the only thing that's going to be in the description now. Go to the website. Sign up for the main list. It's going to be a wild ride. I welcome you. Oh, there. Right. That's the first time I've ever had to plug anything. So moving on. Let's begin. People love facts and statistics. Oh, no, they don't actually. They just like their own truths. People don't really like facts and statistics. What is my beef with the police? Shall I go into that first? No. Let's talk about a girl called Chelsea Russell. The police, for the longest time, just seem to be spending their time just scrolling through social media just to find crime, you know. The police used to be just sort of out on the streets going, oh, that window's open. I wonder if someone's burgling that house. And they wade in, they go, oh, here's a burglar. Jesus Christ, arrest him, you know. Now they're sort of on Instagram and Facebook and just, you know, doing key searches for triggering words, just going, hate, fuck you, you know, and they just look it up and go, oh, what's this? I don't like this. Fucking hell, that's a crime. They get their crime book out when they look at, you know, the what's the Communications Act of 1988? What is it? Don't worry, I've got everything written down, so I won't be looking stupid. Oh yeah, the Malicious Communications Act. What a beautiful title. The Malicious Communications Act of 1988. That'll be in their little book. They've got little books, probably a pamphlet, and they go, malicious communications. And they go, that looks like one. And then they'll send them a little DM, like, hey, hi, this is Officer whatever the name is, I think you've been a bit fucking naughty, son, and you ought to come down the station for an informal interview, and if you don't, you'll be arrested. I mean, how easy is that? They don't even need to bang on anyone's door. They can just send them a message. The police now are like, you know, I suppose, sex call girls. You know, you ring up the sex line, and it's like, hello, this is little hot Linda. I've got my whitest, silkiest panties on, and they are all creamed and mucky now. Ding! You've run out of money. But it would, you know, I know I did that very well. But what it would be, you know, some rotted skank, you know, it's just covered in food, breastfeeding a baby, do you know what I mean? Stinking with a fag in her mouth, like, and like, shut up, baby. Just in their pants, just being disgusting, you know, and just on the phone, earning bank, like, yeah, I'll suck your fucking balls, like, Because they don't need to make much effort. They just take a call. That's what the police are now. They just sat in bed, slobbing around, eating some fucking shit sandwich. Do you know what I mean? Like listening to an audio book of the 50 greatest beige stories of all time. Reading another book on how to communicate with people badly. This is what the police will be doing. They're not out in the streets. They're just scrolling through their phone, just going, what are they up to? What are you up to? Say, coming into work today? I am at work. I'm remote working, you prick. Some of them are probably in Magaluf. These police officers are in Magaluf with their Lads on Tour t-shirts. They're on the beach, being disrespectful to foreigners. Going, we don't talk like that around it, I don't eat that muck. Speak English. That's what they're doing, sat on their fucking deck chair, just scrolling. Sending a DM, yeah. You need to come in for questioning, son, on Monday when I'm back from my Lads on Tour holiday. That's what the police are doing. Now, all jokes aside, let's see what they've been up to. I mentioned that name and completely went off track, but look, Chelsea Russell. If you don't know who Chelsea Russell is, Chelsea Russell is probably the second most famous teenage girl with Asperger's after Greta Thunberg. Except Chelsea Russell doesn't get invited to, consult with world leaders on how to perfect humanity. Chelsea Russell was a girl, if you're unfamiliar, she's from the Merseyside area. I think she's from Liverpool. Her friend, called, what was his name? Frankie Murphy, died in a car accident. He was run over by a car. Chelsea, when she was about 17, this is in around April 2018, decided to go on Instagram and pay tribute to her dear friend who had passed away by, writing out the lyrics to his favourite song by not many people have heard of Snap Dogg before. Yeah, that's right, Snap Dogg, not Snoop Dogg. Some people do get confused. Snap Dogg. I swear Snap Dogg's affiliated with Chief Keef, I think, but I might be wrong. I watched the video a long time ago. And it's the lyrics to Trippin'. I wanted to have a campaign to get Trippin' to number one for Christmas. Maybe we'll just do it this year. Why not? Now look, it's spicy. The lyrics are spicy. Killer snitch N-bomb, robber rich N-bomb. There is something like killer cop, and it's spicy, man. It's gangster rap. She wrote out the lyrics, posted on Instagram as a tribute to her friend. She got arrested for that under malicious communications. That's right. In fact, what was the actual charge? She was charged with sending a grossly offensive message. So, writing lyrics out constitutes a grossly offensive message. Quoting a movie, whatever you want, I'm a Nine Inch Nails fan, if I just write, I want to fuck you like an animal, that's quite offensive, isn't it, really? God is dead, no one cares. All the pigs are all lined up. Hey, pig, piggy, piggy, pig, pig. That's Nine Inch Nails thing. Hey, pig. Hey, pig, piggy, piggy, pig, pig. Maybe I'll just write that all day long. So that got her in trouble. And not only did she get arrested, she got charged. She was charged for this. Now, her friend Frankie, who got run over, well, what happened to the person that ran over Frankie? Well, the person who killed Frankie was driving, they claim, at 48 miles per hour in a 40 mile per hour zone. The CPS in the end said, and I quote this verbatim, there was not enough evidence to provide a realistic prospect of a conviction. Now, what a tragic turn of events. Your friend dies, the person who killed him doesn't get brought to justice, and you get arrested for paying tribute to them. And you've got Asperger's. That's the kind of situation you look at and just go, on face value, it's like, good one. And then just give the Merseyside police a very mild clap. Now, the Merseyside police are quite fascinating people as well, because they actually put something out on Twitter a couple of years ago saying that anyone tweeting criticisms of the Merseyside police would be arrested. I'm not making this up. They said, if you don't stop sending mean tweets to us, we'll arrest you for, I think it was, It's the one with abuse against the police. Harassment or whatever. That's the Merseyside police. Actively saying, if you criticise us, we'll arrest you. Fuck you. That's all I can say to that. Fuck you. Do you know who else said something really dumb like that? The Thai government, who have gone particularly authoritarian and are particularly corrupt. They're a military regime. During the beginning of the COVID-19 crisis, they told people that anyone that criticised them on social media would be arrested. Now, when you look at that, you go, well, that's what nutters do. That's what nutters do in nutty countries. In those countries where there's corruption and shit, you're like, oh, well, you know what they're like, don't you? We're not like that here. No, we are. The police are like that. Boris Johnson and Keir Starmer aren't like that. Possibly. But the police are like that. So, good one, Merseyside police. Aren't you great? Now, looking at Merseyside, I'll give you some interesting... Let's stick with the facts and all these lovely statistics that people love data, don't they? In Merseyside, during the months between January and October of 2018, so this is the year that Chelsea was unfortunately arrested, 1,515 people were arrested for sending offensive messages online. That's right. 1,515. Okay. Do you want some more? Okay. Sorry, I don't know why I'm speaking like that. Do you want some more lovely data? Do you want some more numbers? Right, what other numbers have we got that's going to make your fucking eyes bleed out your face? So for Facebook alone, in 2019, this is just Facebook. This isn't Twitter and Instagram. This is just Facebook. There were 55,643 crimes reported. Facebook crimes in 2019. The North West England Force, so that includes Merseyside Police and Manchester, so this is all relevant to Chelsea, reported 8,829 Facebook-connected crimes. 179 of those were sexual offences, which, could include child porn and stuff like that. So fair enough. We don't quite know all about that, so maybe that's useful things going on, as in useful arrests. All right, don't take me out. 1,007 offensive messages and 1,497 were classified as malicious communications. That's right, that was just in 2019. Okay, well, the people are a bit uppity. I think we've reached this stage where people are saying words of violence. The whole... It used to be about, you should be judged on your actions. A lot of people talk too much, but don't do nothing. But now it's just all everything's just talk now, I suppose, because it's all online. Everything's just talk. I'm a great person. Look all the things I do. I talk about them, but they don't do anything. You can talk all you like, gang. Yeah, I'm great. Have you seen all the things I've done? Have you seen my activism? I tweet every day. That's what an activist is now. It used to be Peter Thatcher flying over to Zimbabwe and getting clobbered in the head for, painting lipstick on a picture of Mugabe going, oh, you homophobic piece of cunt. Bang! Knock the fuck out. That's what an activist used to do. But now an activist would just, at Robert Mugabe. You suck! I'm an activist. So words have replaced meaningful actions now. Which I guess is good for a lot of people because you don't have to do fuck all. Do you know what I mean? You say, what are you doing? Say, I'm going to be a counsellor. Oh yeah, what are you going to do? I'm just going to tweet out and do those little Instagram pictures with inspirational comments to get people through their day. I'm a counsellor now. I'm saving lives. I'm ending child slavery. How are you doing that? Saying, I'm retweeting QAnon conspiracy theories. That's all you need to do now. I'm ending racism. How are you doing that? By harassing people I think are racist with words. So, you can't really blame the police for all the bullshit that they have to put up with. But surely the police would know to, ignore it like a rational person, like a good parent. Mummy, Daddy, shush. We know you're going to say something stupid. Now go to bed. Well, the police don't do that, do they? Oh, no. You like statistics and data, don't you? Everyone does. Here you go. So how much crime is actually solved? You know, like actual crime, like all crimes together. Do you know how many are solved? Actually lead to prosecution. Do you know how many? Do you know what it is? Well, in 2019, because we haven't reached the end of 2020 yet, and basically we can write this year off as a normal crime year because they've invented loads of new crimes, haven't they? 7.8% of offences saw someone charged or summoned in 2019, so that's summoned to court, which was down from 9.1% the following year. It's a 7.8%. And how many of those charges are from sending malicious and offensive messages online, I wonder? Those successful prosecutions. I try to look up all the data. I didn't have time. I want to get this out. So it's something I will be investigating more. Don't worry about that. We'll get the hard facts and numbers that people don't like. I mean, that's astonishing. Imagine if the fire brigade, had a 7.8% success rate of putting out fires. It'd be rubbish, wouldn't it? Now, I'm going, no, it's apples and oranges. This is not the same sort of discussion. I don't care. We live in a results-based society. You need to show some fucking results. Now, I'll give you some more interesting statistics on why the police are fucking duff. Do you know how many children are reported missing each year in the United Kingdom? At a wild guess. My wildest guess was way off. Out of all the statistics I've been looking at, and the cases of people getting arrested for the most stupid things, which we will get to, this is the one that made me go, what the fuck? Like, genuinely. 112,853 children reported missing each year. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of kids. I mean, fuck me. Admittedly, this could be like missing for a couple of hours, I suppose, or something like that. But 4,550 children were identified by UK authorities as potential victims of trafficking in 2019. There's a lot of kids being trafficked and going missing. And let's not forget about all the poor, unfortunate young girls that were in care, the most vulnerable people in society, next to the elderly and the disabled. Let's fucking get realistic about it. Well, these people were just thrown to the bin, I suppose. Because the police, they were all groomed by particularly South West Asian grooming gangs. And it's above 20,000. They think it might be 100,000. Anything above 1,000 is too many, isn't it? Or no, above 10. I'd say 10. Anything above 10's totally out of order. And what were the police saying? Do you know what the police were saying? And yes, some of these were in the Northwest too. They're like, oh, well, we were afraid of being accused of bigotry. You're the police. You don't join the police to get props. I mean, I know society's gone a bit weird and people are like, oh, you're in the police now, is it? Oh. But, what the fuck? I mean, Columbo didn't join the police to get pussy. Do you know what I mean? He didn't, you don't join the police and go, yeah, I'm going to get bare bitches doing this. I'm going to travel and see the world. You're not doing it for props. Like, why the fuck? This is what I hate about, like clapping for the NHS. Well, give us praise. Like, no, you don't do this shit for props. This is why you're good people. You're supposed to be better than us douchebags. You're supposed to be better than Ed Sheeran, who's just some ginger twat who could never get nothing. He went, I'm going to sing my wanky songs and everyone's going to love me. You're better than him? What are you doing? Why do you want to be liked? Oh my God. Do think of all those mothers who go in the newspapers and go on the news, the young, let's go with the stereotypes. You got the mother and the young black kids being killed and shot. It's always the same story. He was such a good boy doing his GCSEs. He was football trials for Tottenham. Oh my God, Jesus Christ, he used to carry his gran across rivers. I saw him give a homeless person his underwear. He was such a good boy. A kid gets fucking killed. They never arrest anybody or prosecute anyone. And this woman's going, where's the justice for my son? Where's the justice for my son? And the police are like, I'm sorry, we can't give you justice. People are mean to us. Do you think any of these women, and I will particularly go with the mothers, because they're the ones who see it. It's always a mother. We're using them as the example, okay? Do you think any of these mothers who want justice for their kids give a fuck if you're racist or not? To be honest, like, if you make the arrest and everyone accuses you of being racist and you prosecute the person that killed their kid, and everyone's going, there, police are fucking racist. Do you think they care that you're going to bring justice? I mean, really? About, like, they just want shit done, isn't it? And admittedly, people do get a bit fucked up. I will give them that. Because one minute they're going, oh, police are always harassing us, they're always in the neighbourhood. And then the next minute they're going, well, the police never come around here and do nothing. But, this is Britain. You just got to ignore people like that. Say, fuck off. You know the British are like, it's saying, oh, it's raining all the time. Oh, this summer is so wet. And then as soon as it gets hot, they're like, Jesus, this is too fucking hot. It's Britain. That's what... Do you not understand the people you're policing? They just whine about anything. This is why we shouldn't be allowed to protest. Because we just go, oh, everything's brilliant. No, it's not. The problem is that when this all sort of started kicking off, 2011 was when I really noticed how the police were just not prioritizing things correctly. Especially around the time of the riots of 2011. That's when I really noticed it. Kids getting arrested for tweeting. Like literally saying, I'm going down the riots. Some kid said he was going down the riots and he got 2 years in jail. Right? He just tweeted, I'm going to be there. He got 2 years in jail. I'll give you some examples. This is what we've been dealing with for 10 years or so. So if you go back to 2012, you can see a rise in social media crimes. In 2012, so like this is malicious, communications and whatever online. Internet social media based crimes shot up 780% in 2012. And over 4 years, it went up 780%, sorry. So from 2008 to 2012, 780%. Now, let's give some examples. In 2011, 4 men, they're all white boys, were jailed for inciting riots on Facebook. They were from Cheshire. They were all very young. Basically, they started up a Facebook event called Smashdown in Northwich Town. And one of them, called Perry, I won't give his surname. You can go look it up. I don't want to be putting him on blast. Basically, was drunk when he made this page during the riots. And he took it down the following morning whilst having a hangover and going, oh, what the fuck was I doing? The only people who turned up for this Smashdown event were the police. And then they arrested him and the 3 of his friends, and they all went to prison. They all went to jail for that. Now we can go further on. So in 2012 as well. A 17-year-old... in 2012. That was 2011. So we're all on 1 year to the... Remember the Olympics and Tom Daley before he came gay? A 17-year-old was arrested and sent to jail in 2012 for tweeting at Tom Daley. Okay. So Daley tweeted out basically, I'm doing it for myself and my dad. It was both our dreams from a very young age, because I think Tom Daley's dad died when he was young. But he didn't win, all right? He didn't do it for Team Britain, and everyone was upset, So after the loss, so this teenager, who went by the name of @Riley_69. I'm sorry, but it's like, this is clearly someone very young. I mean, he's 17. You're @Riley_69. You really are 17. He tweeted at Tom Daley, you let your dad down. I hope you know that. That's what he went to jail for. He went to jail for that. I know the one with the woman in Croydon, like going, what do you have to say about Brussels? I'm like, nothing to do with me. I mean, he's an asshole, right? But like, and that's, I could sort of see how that's inciting racial hatred, sort of. I can see the point, but like to get arrested and charged for it. But this, let's read it again. So what did he say? You let your dad down. I hope you know that. It's not like he said, dig up your dead dad and fuck his dead skull or something. Something racy like that. It's not like he said, you pissed on your dead dad's face, you fucking prick. He didn't even, It literally says, I mean, how many... Everyone sent something worse than that in their time, haven't they? What, let's read it again. So what did he say? You let your dad down. I hope you know that. What the fuck? He went to jail. Sorry. What the fuck? Seriously, he went to jail. So you think things are... This is how people have got it twisted. People think things are bad, like getting worse. No, it's been like this for a long time. It really has. I noticed this a long time ago. You know, it's when the Count Dankula thing happened a few years ago. My friend said, "This is outrageous. What's been happening?" I was like, "Bro, we've been talking about this for years. Like, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. This is what the police have been doing for a long time." I don't know. Has it got worse? Has it got better? Well, the numbers keep going up and up and up. So it keeps increasing. Oh, by the way, these are bites, not vampire bites, bug bites. So I'm just explaining to people. You can see my arm, in case I get accused of being a heroin addict. I've had that one before. I was a crack addict, actually. Get your fucking facts right. Now, look. So yes, the incidents are going up and up and up. So I guess it is getting worse. But it's just, but then, like, there are more crimes, less crimes are being solved. So is crime going up? Real crime? Like, there's a lot of data to crunch, and I'm going to have to do it on some sort of, other time on a whole thing. Let's just examine crime and see what the fuck is going on, because crime's always getting worse. But, like, this is ridiculous. So when you got the incident with Darren Grimes interviewing David Starkey, who said something really, David Starkey said something, in a very bad way. Basically. Fair enough, alright, arrest David Starkey if you want, if you think it warrants that, but to arrest him, and everyone's going, wow, this is really getting crazy. It's like, is it getting crazier? Because look at this. You let your dad down, I hope you know that. What? How are you going to jail for saying that? What the fuck? What the fuck? I have said far worse things. In text, and like, what the fuck? What the fuck? But let's keep going, because there's more. So you got the Croydon man. Well, actually, no. How about we examine? I mean, Jesus, the police are whack. Isn't that the best thing we can say? They're just shit, and just end it there. But the thing is, people go, yeah, but like it is part of the law. The law states that like it is the law. Blah blah blah. Shut up. Let's read the law. I'll read you the fucking law. You want to hear the law? So the 1988 Malicious Communications Act states, and this is verbatim, okay, a message that is indecent or grossly offensive. Like, well, what's the point in talking if you can't be grossly offensive? I mean, goodness me. A threat. Information that is false and is known or believed to be false by the sender. Well, this is 2020, and literally everything in the news is probably false. And literally what everyone thinks they understand about the world is probably false. So, like, again, we're all going to have to go to jail. So, the importance of the sender's mental state. What does it say? The sender's purpose must be to cause distress or anxiety to the recipient. Well, like, the majority of messages sent on Twitter are sent with that purpose, isn't it? Like I said, there's not enough jail. There's not enough space in jail. This is a key element of the offence and has a high threshold for the prosecution to meet when an individual is charged with this offence. A person can, in theory, commit an offence of sending malicious communications through a single tweet or message. An offence is committed as soon as the communication is sent, and it does not even have to be received by the intended person. Right, okay. What if you're just tweeting out in general? Just then. What, do you know, like, because people are getting arrested for that too. So this is nonsense. Anyway, right, let's have a look. Equally, there is no need for the communications network to be public, and it therefore includes private messages, unlike an offence under Section 127 of the Communications Act 2003, which requires the forum to be public. The offence is very much focused on the sending of the communication and malicious intent of the sender, rather than the impact on the recipient. What must be established is that the sender had an intention to cause anxiety or distress to the recipient or to any other person to whom the sender intends to be communicated. Cause anxiety. I used to have anxiety attacks. I used to get anxiety about making phone calls. So if someone messages me and says, yo, you got to call this guy, I'd have an anxiety attack about stupid shit like that. So what? Does he go to jail too? Why do they do this? So what does indecent or grossly offensive mean? Whatever it means, by the end of this podcast, hopefully we will commit at least 6 crimes. Okay? That's a promise. The threshold for establishing that a communication is grossly offensive is necessarily high due to the potential impact on freedom of expression under Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights. Ooh, well, that one's gone now, hasn't it? We've left the EU. Dun dun dun. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a better one. Possibly, who knows? The fact that a communication is in bad taste or controversial will not necessarily be sufficient. There is a case law which has established that it is a question of fact whether a message was grossly offensive, and that what was grossly offensive had to be judged by considering the reaction of reasonable persons and the standards of an open and just multiracial society, and that the words had to be judged taking account of their context and all relevant circumstances. It is important to strike a balance between Malicious Communications Act and free speech. So what? Is it because, like, that Chelsea girl was white and she's saying, rob a rich M-bomb and blah, blah, blah. Like, what? If they were black, it would be okay? Or was it the bits of that, please? Or is it... It's fucking lyrics. Who cares? It's lyrics. Shut up, mate. What the fuck? And who is she directing it at? Like, lyrics... What is this? The 1950s? Do you know what I mean? The 1950s is this like just puritanical pastors walking around going, this is the devil's music, whole lot of shaking going on, what the hell are you talking about? We're going to burn you, boy. And I'm like, well, Elvis is Satan, he's wiggling his hips at the kids. Well, what is this? Well, the police have literally gone tonto. What the fuck? Fuck off. 7.8% of crimes are being solved. What the fuck are you doing? Now, I'll give you some examples of why the police are proper duff. Okay, and why they need to do better. Alright? Let's go. I mean, this is nonsense. The amount of... Look at how many crimes are supposedly being committed because of online. Just from those examples alone, you should be like, what? Especially the one with the Tom Daley thing. I mean... That was 8 years ago, and it's got worse. What the fuck? It's got worse than that. Like, less can get you in jail. But, the police... What is the function of the police? Well, I went through it at the beginning. Okay. Now, I'll give you some examples of interactions with the police. I know how to talk to police. Okay. As someone who was constantly committing crime, I would always, it's always very high. I'll say, yeah, sure, yeah. It's the idiots who go, no, fuck you, man. You ain't touching me. You're going to jail. Okay? You're going to jail. Right? I don't like them neither. But you got to act like you do like them. Oh, yes, officer. You're a great communicator and not like a robot at all. So let's give some examples. Going back, a few years ago, a friend of mine was very drunk. This guy is a bit of an idiot all round, to be honest, when he's drunk, especially. There was some incident going on with some girl and some guy, and my mate thought she was going to get raped or something. She wasn't. It never happened. It's just these dudes were creepy and whatever. So he runs up to this policewoman in her car and says, right, this woman's going to be getting raped over there. And he was being really OTT, to be fair. And she was like, all right, calm down. I'm not going to say, go home. And I was like, mate, just get out of her face. Like, get out. And he was like, oh my God, and he was like, I should be videoing this. I cannot believe she's not going to stop a rape. And I was like, all right, mate. I was like, all right, step away. And she's like, you want to listen to your friend? I was like, yeah. And I was like, look, and then I started being very cordial with him. I was just like, look, he's just concerned about this girl and this guy over there. And she's very drunk and he's been a bit creepy and that, do you want to go like, and just find out if she's, just ask him if everything's okay, that'll be fine. Nothing, that's it. That's all we're talking about. And then, I'll take him home. It's cool. Literally talking like that. As smooth and as kind and as polite, even more polite than that. I wasn't going, yo, baby, go do your job. And do you know what she said to me? She said, no, I'm not going to do that. I was like, well, why not? She said, it's my job to solve crime. She wasn't a detective. It's just a fucking PC. What? I was like, what do you mean your job's to solve crime? I was like, no, it's not. It's to prevent crime. That's what you're doing here. You're not here solving crimes. And this is in the middle of the countryside. There's no crimes to solve in the countryside except incest. And it's like, sorry, that's a low blow. I love my country people. But I was like, all right, Columbo, calm yourself down. Solve crime. And how many murders have you solved this year? What are you, fucking Miss Marple up in this bitch? And then I've gone from being very calm and collected to just going, shut the fuck up. I was like, what the fuck? So you're not doing it? I was like, fuck off. It's like you jumped up and I let her have it. Because it was just the most ridiculous thing I've heard. She wasn't doing anything. It was late at night. This woman was on patrol with nothing to do. All the pubs are closed. This is in the middle of the countryside. There's no one doing nothing except there is one thing going on. All you got to do is just go, is everything okay? She's like, I solve crimes. What a bloke like idiot gal. So there's one example. I'll go through more. There's fucking plenty. Now going, years ago, when we moved to the countryside from London, and when I was a kid, we all had dealings with a local police officer. He's dead now. And, good. I mean, not good. I mean, he died of old age. He's not in the world anymore, and I'm good. I didn't like him when he was in the world, and he just bothered us. He had it in for the whole family. He had it in for my brother. He had it in for me. He had it in for my old man. Because we're outsiders. Literally, that was what it is. This is why when people go on about racism and xenophobia and all this, it's like, you'll never solve these problems. Because you know what? Because people are fucking dicks. People don't even like people from the next postcode or block. Or everyone lives in a little village and they don't like people entering the village. Like, oh, who are these weirdos from somewhere else? That's what people are like. It doesn't matter what you look like or what you talk. As long as you're from somewhere else, they're going to have a problem with you. And these dickheads are all over the world. This is why I'm very proud to say I'm from nowhere and I don't care. I don't care about this. Anyway, that's also another talk for another time. And he just used to give a shit all the time. He, even before I got into anything, he used to follow me around the village at night. Like, literally just pacing behind me, follow me. Like, he was a complete dick. And when I got run over, when I was real young, the guy that ran me over knew him. He's a friend of their family. He was also an MP's son. And what you're supposed to do when someone gets run over, and by the way, I was run over at almost 48 miles per hour myself. You're very lucky to survive that. I count my blessings all the time. R.I.P. to that boy Frankie. But, you're supposed to measure the tyre tracks. He didn't do that. He didn't measure the tyre tracks because he knew the guy. This guy could have gone to... The guy had been banned already before for drink driving. This guy had loads of money. He could have gone to jail for that shit. Oh no, he didn't measure the tyre tracks, nothing happened. Roll on a few years later, we used to park the cars outside the front of the house, next to a hedge, and one day, one of the neighbours decided to just fill it with rubble so we couldn't park there anymore. And this was all sanctioned by the policeman. It was completely illegal. He was like, oh, no, that's fine, he can do that. It's like, it wasn't even his property, it was in the road. And for my old man clearing space and parking his car there, he got arrested and taken to court by this policeman. And my dad represented himself and won somehow. He was a bit sharper than I suppose. No, but it's just mad to me. And as a guy who said, like, where's dinner? In the dishwasher. And my dad, like, he won in court. I joke. He did. He won. Like, he gave him illegal parking tickets. Yeah, this is very small, low-level bullshit because people are going to put up with way more. You look at how the police just harass high-profile people who they think are criminals. Look at how they just constantly go after, like, people in the public eye who are known for being part of criminal families. There's just constant harassment of them instead of actually, like, building a case against them. They're just always showing force against them. This happens a lot. The police are fucking twats, mate. They're just twats. What can we just agree? I mean, what else could you say? They really need to do better. All these girls who got abused, all these kids that are going fucking missing, all these mothers crying their eyes out because their kids are dead, and because their communities aren't being made secure and safe, and the murders haven't been fucking solved. Can you just do something for them instead of just, arresting people for saying, oh, I don't quite like Pakistanis too much on Twitter, because wankers are everywhere. Oh, I've told a racist and sexist joke. Saying, I don't think men should wear dresses and go in girls' toilets. Oh, we need to arrest him. Really? That's who you're arresting now? What are you doing? Is it got to that stage where they're like the security services that I talked about in the last podcast, where they're just so lazy now, they're going, let's just make it all up and make everyone think that we're doing something? Because if you constantly invent crime and then keep solving these crimes, like, well, cybercrime's risen 500%, and we've solved about 490% of those cybercrimes. When those cybercrimes are just people tweeting, or tweeting at Tom Daley going, nice one, or putting lyrics up to Chief Keef, I'm a true religion fiend, the Chief Keef, or what about the Chief Keef lyrics? It's like, that's some shit I don't like. A snitch M-bomb, that's some shit I don't like. What is it? A gay M-bomb, that's some shit I don't like. Were you arresting him too? You arresting lyricists? Is it okay if you wrote the lyrics and you repost your own lyrics? I mean, how's it work? I don't know. What are the rules to this? The police are duff. Do you want more examples of why the police are duff? I mean, I've seen brutality from the police. The most brutal things I've seen is on a little white kid. He was about 16. He just beat the shit out of him. And I said, why are you beating the crap out of him? You didn't do it. Like, we were involved in a fight. It was my mate fighting, and I was, like, trying to get the geezer off my mate, and I was covered in blood. Right, I'm stood there with blood all over my hands. And 2 riot vans turn up, and it's like, well, this doesn't look good for me. Did I get clobbered? No. This kid, who was like some Millwall young'un, was like, yeah, fuck you, coppers. And they just beat the shit out of him. Like, 4 of them just paled him and just started banging him on the floor, like, bam, 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 bam. And I was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? So they said to me, they just went, yeah, you fucking want some too? Well, that's the police. Now, that's an example of brutality, but I'm just saying they're whack. You ever try to talk to a policeman? Like, actually have a conversation? I remember it was like some charity night in Guildford, when I lived in Guildford. And all these students were going out and getting drunk, and then I was refused entry to some club, and all my mates who I were with went in. So I was just left standing outside for ages, and I was like, what do I do? I couldn't get in nowhere else, and I was like, I'm going to talk to the police just for a laugh, not be a prick to them, just like, because they'll have to talk to me, and I know they're not drunk and weird, well, they're police, but, I know they're not going to try and rehypnol me or something. Well, maybe they will, I don't know, but, so I walked over to the police and said, hey, how's it going? I was talking to this woman, and, I noticed there's a lot of police presence because it was a drunken student night out. There's thousands of students getting drunk. And I was like, I was saying, do you not ever think that maybe, this is a waste of your time and resources? Do you know what I mean? Does it ever annoy you that you have to, like, babysit all these drunk, snivelling twats? I didn't quite put it like that, but that's the general rhetoric of it all. And she was like, no, it is our duty to serve the public. I was like, yeah, but come on, like. She said, no, I don't know what you mean. I was like, you just can't talk to these people. And these are the people that we're out here serving the public. Really? why aren't you patrolling areas where there's loads of crime? And, why aren't you why aren't you stopping kids from getting kidnapped? Why are you arresting people for tweeting and going on Facebook and shit? I mean, come on. Is this not a bit silly? Are you not silly people? So that's my 2 cents on it. It's just, there's so much more to talk about, obviously. I mean, but people keep mentioning, the police are, we're on this dangerous path to where the police are just arresting people for thought crimes. I mean, there is that guy that was posting limericks, and they arrested him because they said, we need to check your thinking. Which does sound creepy as hell. But you got to remember, they've been doing this for a fucking long time. The attention turned to cybercrime, I'm sure, is because they are lazy. And they can blame all the things about austerity cuts and all that shit. All right, but when you actually listen to their mentality and how they talk about things, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing anyway. So give them another 10,000 boots on the street. They're not even using them on the streets. We don't want the police to go and find the missing kids. We want them to stop the missing kids going missing. Do you understand what I'm saying? We don't want them to solve the murder that all these mothers are crying about. We'd rather that the police stop the murder from happening. Do you see where I'm going with this? We don't want the police to be biting their fingernails going, we're going to get accused of Islamophobia if we go after this grooming gang. We don't want them whining like little bitches. We want them actively going up to people and saying, all right, sweetheart, notice that you're 14 and there's 10 drunk Pakistani men hanging around with you at this cab office. Just thought this looked a bit fucking weird. Are you all right, sweetheart? That's what we want the police doing. Just stuff like that. We don't need you to be Columbo. But, there's other people, I'm sure there's some very good people with great instincts who can go and hunt down missing children who would do a better job than the police would, I think there are people out there who are better designed for them kind of jobs. We need the police doing what they're doing. We don't need the police to be some sort of weird, word Gestapo. Do you know what I'm saying? Like for people for posting lyrics. Do you know? So, just writing, what the fuck? Just come on. Just fucking do better, would you? Jesus Christ. But, don't tweet that at Merseyside police because they'll actually bang you up they'll bang you up in jail for saying, can you just do a better job, please, mate? Right, well, that's an incitement to, I don't know, I'm a moron. So I'm glad I'm back on track with cussing the police out for being just duff. And let's not make any mistake about this. The police do prevent crimes sometimes, like with the Millennium Dome heist. It was a 14 million pound diamond, or how it was like £7 million. It was above £7 million. Was it 50 million? It was the world's most expensive diamond. Look it up. Okay. To protect this diamond, the police waited out to prevent a crime from happening, not solve the crime, to prevent the crime of the diamond getting stolen, as in catch them in the act of it. All right. So not the conspiracy for doing it wasn't big enough, but catching them in the act warranted it. Warranted £7 million was spent on that operation to protect a fucking diamond. Okay? To protect the diamond. Now you can set up a Facebook page and say, hey, we're going to have a riot night down at Northwich Town Centre. We're going to smash up McDonald's. You get arrested for plotting that, but they didn't arrest the people for plotting to steal the diamond, even though they knew they were plotting to do it. They had to wait for them to do it and spend £7 million on that. You're talking about resources? Give me a fucking break, all right? Just no. Enough. Enough is enough. You're not racists, but you are morons. And no, sorry, that's out of order. You're not racists, but you aren't doing a very good job at you're just not doing good at your job, are you? If nurses were as incompetent as the police and as lazy as the police, we would be really fucked. I mean, we're fucked as it is, but I mean, we'd be, just all dead and eating our loved ones. But anyway, that's all I've got to say. If you made it to the end and you liked what I do, please share it, like it, go on the website, sign up to the mailing list, and I promise you, you'll have a link to my exclusive OnlyFans, which is me stuffing bits of pork inside my man vagina. Next time.